everybody, welcome back to my channel. So today is a very exciting day because not only is it my son's birthday and he's an official teenager, but Delia, our first time heifer, just gave birth early this morning to a beautiful heifer calf. So we have just been watching it for a while now, and she has hit all the important milestones so far. She stood up and walked, and she has nursed now, and she's also had a bowel movement as well. So everything appears to be just perfect with her. I have lots of other videos about our cattle, so if you want some background on them, go ahead and check out my livestock folder. And also there's videos about Delia from last summer when we first got her. So this calf is Delia's calf. Delia is just shy of her second birthday. She was actually bred about a month before we had planned on breeding her because our bull, Samson, broke the gate down and got to her. So we learned a little bit about our setup at that time. But like I said, Delia is a first-time heifer. So this is her first calf. She was bred to our registered dexter bull. So he's a purebred dexter. He is polled. I'm not sure if he is homozygous or heterozygous. So he is red, and I believe that according to the Dexter Association, most red bulls are probably heterozygous polled. So we will see if the calf is polled or not, but this calf is doing really well. So today is July 9th, and it is my son's birthday. So when we came out this morning, it was pretty exciting to see a little calf out in the field who was just born, not yet standing. Delia was due on the 12th, so she's a few days early. And we weren't sure whether it was a little bull calf or a heifer calf. We were kind of hoping for a bull calf because we need to get some meat growing, but we're excited for a heifer as well. So we kind of like, part of us wants a heifer, part of us wants a bull. So either way, it turned out amazing. We're so happy. Such a blessing. This is our second calf to be born on the farm. And because it's our son's birthday, we said that he could name her. So he has some time to think about a name for a little heifer calf. So this morning we got up. I got up a little bit later than normal, but about 7 o'clock this morning, and made some coffee and sat in bed for a little bit, drinking my coffee. And my husband got up and got dressed and came out to check on the cows, because when it starts to get close to calving, it's kind of hard to wait for. So we come out every morning and check and fill up their water and do all the things, you know, check all the animals and feed who needs fed and everything. And so he came out to check Delia, and he came back in with a big smile and said, "We have a cow, we have a cow." And I thought, yeah, right. And my husband likes to fool me and play around and stuff. So part of me was like, yeah, right. But I had to come and see, obviously. So I came running out here, and sure enough, right here in the pasture, right by the gate, Delia was standing licking her newborn little calf who had not stood up yet, was soaking wet, and her water bag was still hanging out at the time too. So we knew that she had just given birth moments before. Maybe if I hadn't got my coffee and sat down to drink it and came straight out here, I would have been able to see her be born. But we just missed it. We got to see it a lot sooner than Dolores's calf, Patty, though. So very dark in color at the time, but now that she's clean and drying off, her fur is a much lighter brown, like a fawn or a dun color, it looks like. And she looks to be a little bit smaller than our last calf. pretty sure she's smaller. We haven't measured her or anything yet, so we'll see. We did measure Patty, so we'll be able to compare the size a little bit later, but right now we're just letting them be together. She's really eating a lot, so that's really good. Delia is a lot smaller than her mom, Dolores, who you can probably hear in the background mooing and mooing. Grandma Dolores is pretty excited. We separated Delia from the herd, I believe 2 days ago now. So I think it was the 6th or the 7th. I can't remember for sure. We put her up here in this front pasture. This front pasture is where, I know, Dolores, is where we had the cows all winter. So it's kind of our tiny sacrificial pasture that we kind of, it's got a lot of weeds in it, but there is a lot of clover, white clover, red clover, and then this other kind of clover, I can never remember the name. It's like a furry pom-pom looking clover. There's a lot of milkweed though, and a lot of curly dock and goosefoot and stuff like that up here. So we were planning on reseeding this early this year, but there's just been so much going on growing the farm that that was one of the things that we didn't get to do quite this year. So maybe next year we'll be able to do that. But for now, there's lots to eat for Delia. It grew up really good in here, and she's had a lot to eat these past few days. But my husband brought her a bale of hay, and he gave a little over half to the herd, and about a quarter bale of hay from first cutting this year, and just gave it to her so she doesn't have to walk around and graze, and she can just nurse her baby. And we also gave her about a quarter of a scoop of alfalfa pellets as well, so that she can keep up her strength. And Dolores, when she had her calf, we don't know how old Dolores is. We got her from a small homestead not far away, maybe half an hour to an hour away. And they got her from Wisconsin from like a commercial dairy farm. So we don't know how old Dolores is, but Dolores really seems to have a lot harder time than Delia's having. She was very, very tired, and she lost a lot of weight right after giving birth. Delia, obviously, she's very young, so she seems in a lot better strength than Dolores was. Her udder is quite large, but it's not painful to look at. Like Dolores's udder just gets so big. We thought, man, if an udder can pop from having so much milk, that was gonna be Dolores. Her udder was giant. Delia's is large, quite large, but it's not painful to look at this point. Of course, she just gave birth, so we'll see how it goes the next few days. I did save about 6 gallons or so of colostrum from Dolores when Dolores had her calf. I got about 6 gallons over time of colostrum from her and put it in the freezer just in case anything happened to Delia or anything with the calf that we had to bottle feed or something like that. I wanted to make sure I had colostrum for the calf, but it doesn't look like she's going to need it. As far as Delia goes, she looks in perfect health. She's being a really good mom. It's all just coming natural. Great instinct. The calf looks beautiful. They both are looking perfect. So that's really good. I know, Dolores. That's your niece. Samson came running down the hill, and I think he was on his way to get some water. He usually runs down the hill because he's just too big and his legs are short, and it's hard to keep a freight train from going fast down the hill. So he usually trots down the hill, but as soon as he looked over and seen that calf, he stopped dead in his tracks and stood there. And he was really interested to meet Patty, our first calf. And so, yeah, he was excited to see, as excited as a cow can be, to see this little one, and thought, oh, look at this new member of the herd. All the cows are in a tizzy right now. Of course, if you guys have cows, you know, they get to mooing, they get loud, they get quite excited over new arrivals. So it's about 10:30 right now. So it's been at least a couple hours since the calf was born, and Delia is still licking her. Licking her all over. She's a really good mom. But she has eaten off that bag hanging, but there's still some afterbirth hanging, and I believe the placenta is still in there, so we'll just keep an eye on that and make sure within about 24 hours or so that the placenta is passed. We've got Delia separated from the herd. We did a similar thing to Dolores. We like to separate the milk cows. I don't know if we will in the future, but it's just the way that it's been turning out so far, and we do not have plans to separate our dexter cows when they calve. We're planning on just leaving them with the herd, but we wanted to separate Dolores because it was our first calf ever, and also she is our dairy cow, so we wanted to be able to get her in the stanchion and stuff when we needed to, and all of that. Also, Dolores, she calved when it was still kind of winter, and we had our other pastures kind of closed off to the cows. We didn't want their hooves walking on the tender grass. We didn't want them grazing the fresh new grass that was coming up early spring and stuff. So we really didn't have a separate pasture to put her on, so we just had her in a stall. Delia, because it is summer, we're able to have her in this front pasture, so she has a small pasture to herself, and she has half of the barn stall is all to herself with her own water, her own minerals, and if we put hay in there, she could have her own hay trough and everything like that, so she doesn't have to worry about the other cows. So we decided that we definitely wanted to separate Delia, though, because she is the lowest on the totem pole with our herd. Her and then Fancy probably is right above her, and then Mela and Samson and Dolores kind of are both at the top, but Dolores is our head cow. So being Delia, it was her first time having a baby, and also being the low girl on the totem pole, we thought that we would separate her also because we will be training her to milk coming up and getting her, she is accustomed to getting in the stanchion and everything, so that won't be an issue getting her in the stanchion, I don't think, but we have to train her to milk, and we just want easy access to her. Having Delia up here and separated, it'll be a lot easier for us to go in and get a milking routine established, however we decide to do that. But yeah, I plan on also, we have a really nice setup in the barn, so I plan on just having the calf right there with us most likely. So we shall see how it goes. You know, sometimes you plan on doing things a specific way and then it just doesn't work out, you know, with your schedule or with what the cow wants or needs or whatever. So I definitely plan on bringing you guys along, seeing how it goes with training her to milk. I've never trained a cow to milk, but we have had Delia since she was about 6-7 months old, and my mission has been to just give her lots of love and attention. She knows me, she's used to me, she's really, really good with me. She's very passive, very gentle, very sweet girl. She is not really afraid of much of anything anymore. She was when we first got her. She was quite timid of everything, but we trained her to lead, trained her for a halter, although we don't really use it anymore, so she'd probably need a refresher course, but she is a real sweet girl, and we have practiced lots in the stanchion. Putting her in there, giving her some snacks, brushing her from head to toe, touching her feet. I've got a video of us trimming her hooves. She was really good with that. We rub her udder all the time. I've washed her udder, getting her clean and stuff. She didn't pick up a foot. She never kicked at me. She actually seemed to really enjoy it. So hopefully all goes well with milking her, but I plan on bringing you guys along for that journey. Hopefully everything goes good, but I guess we could all learn something together if it doesn't go well. So Mama has finally laid down. The calf and her are both laying down, but she's laying right behind her and just licking and licking and licking her, licking her ears and licking her face. She definitely bonded with her calf immediately. So, you know, that can be an issue sometimes now and again, where the mom and baby might have trouble bonding, and that definitely wasn't a problem with her. She definitely loves this little calf. She's bonded with her really well, so that's very exciting. This calf definitely looks about the same exact color as Patty, our last calf. They're like a fawn or dun looking color, darker red than Delia. Delia's a very light, beautiful color Jersey, and this Belfair calf looks to be redder, more red like her dad, but a lighter red.